Welcome to today's CELUM online session, Product Content Management, the tool for smart content management and unforgettable user experiences. My name is Isabel, and I will be your webinar host today. Today, we will get to know the latest CELUM highlight, namely CELUM Product Content Management, in more detail. With this tool, you can manage your product content more flexible and efficiently than ever before, and offer your audiences an unforgettable user experience. And you will learn what compound objects and placeholder assets have to do with it. Before we start, let me just inform you that we will record this session and we will send you the recording after the webinar, I guess in 1 or 2 days. Also, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write them down in the question field in your GoToWebinar field on the right-hand side of your screen, and we will answer as many as we can in the Q&A session after the presentation. And now let me briefly introduce today's speakers. We have Britta Bichler. She's Product Marketing Manager at CELUM. And our CELUM expert today is Reinhard Eisl. He is Head of Product Management at CELUM, and he therefore knows everything there is to know about our product. So this truly is your chance to ask him all your questions about product content management in the Q&A session. Hi, Reinhard. Thanks for presenting our latest features live today. So what can we look forward to?
Hello, Isabel. Thank you for the intro. And also, hello, Britta. Thanks for joining me today.
Hello, Reinhard. Good to see you. Yeah, I just wanted to say a big congratulations to you and your team for launching product content management. Right, this is a very exciting functionality for us. And what we're really going to talk about today is the feature of the taking your rich product content creation anywhere right now. The reason why we're saying that is because we want to give our customers an agile product content workflow using our product. And that means creating a framework of assets needed, applying the metadata, and letting the content come, even the ones that don't yet exist, which is a bit curious. What are we talking about when we're saying about content that does not yet exist? But Reinhard, you're going to show that today. And also what's really great is our customers are now going to have an overview of the content status. So they'll see that all the content is in there for that particular product, and they are sure that they can go to market with all the content they need to help their prospects make that final sale. So instead of me talking about it, Reinhard, why don't you go ahead and show it and we can talk about it.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the congrats. The team and I were really excited to finally being able to show this off. And as you've already said, so this is really about putting the marketeer back in the driving seat and giving them the opportunity to have an overview of all the content that's already there, content that's and content that's missing, the content that's required for a product content set of product content to be considered complete. For example, for showing it on the website in a portal, or of course on the digital shelf in the web shop, right? So there are two things that we've implemented, two larger features that really help you with that. And the first thing is we've created a new object we call compound object, because what it really is, it's collecting a set of assets that are, for example, a set of product content, and allow you to define rules to see at first glance whether the product content is already complete or where something is missing. And for that, it's as easy as this, really. So just
sorry to say that compound object would be like kind of that framework that I was mentioning earlier, right?
Yes, exactly.
Compound object will allow you to create the framework to put the product content in there with like kind of a set structure and rules.
Exactly. So let's consider, for the sake of example, let's consider a fashion retailer, right? And there's a new product, a T-shirt. It's very simple.
Sorry, Sorry to interrupt, but I guess you're sharing the wrong screen.
What are you seeing?
The
PowerPoint presentation.
PowerPoint presentation, but in the split view.
Okay, thanks for the hint. Let me check.
Looks like in the background.
Is this
There
better?
you go. That looks nicer.
Yeah, much better.
Thank you, Isabel.
Okay.
Thanks, audience.
Okay, so hopefully with you now actually being able to see what I'm doing here, it makes much more sense. So consider this example of a T-shirt, right? It's a product, so we can make it a compound object, right? We want to apply the framework or the rules that we've defined for every product that's kind of fashion related. Yeah? And what this does is it says that for anything that's fashion related, we require there to be a view from the front. We want 3 shots with the model actually wearing the clothing, and we want a style shot, like again with a model, but the piece of clothing in context with other clothes, so that is a style image, let's call it, right? Another thing that we can do is we can define in the last set here which of the views or which of the elements should be the master view of the product. In our case, let's say the shirt, we want to always have just the cropped front view of the shirt. So this is how we go about this. We have predefined rules. In this case for fashion. We'll see later how you can actually define your own rules. These define which elements are required for the product content to be considered complete. And we can also define the master view, the one that's representative for the whole of product here.
I have a quick question. So some of the, because right now everything that we're showing is maybe pictures. Could we also have videos or some sort of documentation? Like, let's say it's an eco shirt and I really want to talk about the organic cotton shirt and where it's sourced from. So it'd be a document. So could I add that in here as well?
Absolutely. We'll see in a second example where we have a look at a TV, for example, so a tech retail example, where we can require, for example, the presence of a manual. And of course, it also works with all kind of other content, a 3D view, a video, and what have you.
Great, because I do see in retail when I'm online shopping that it's a video of a model walking or wearing it, which is very nice too.
Absolutely. Okay, now that we've defined this T-shirt to be a compound object, we're about to get our first information regarding the status of the compound object, right? So we just created it, obviously, so there are no assets in.
Sorry, after you create it, you click that refresh button, and then as you refresh, then you're getting this light here, right?
Yeah, you have to consider, I mean, if you have thousands, tens of thousands of products in your system, it can take a while to basically update all the statuses as they change. So this is basically kind of a safeguard to have the updates happening when it's convenient for the system and not immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is
this light here? Yeah.
Sure. So what we see here is that when we have a look at the compound information here, we see that the T-shirt is of type fashion, and that we're still missing all the elements that we've defined, so front, model shots, the style, and so on and so forth.
Okay, this is really convenient that I have such a great overview immediately. It's not even a color system, and it's not just a color system, but it's telling me exactly what's missing. So I can click right here, I can look at it immediately and be like, okay, wow, I'm missing this piece of the content. I like this overview a lot.
Thanks. And if you, I mean, most people that work with the system will be familiar with the tree, and immediately in the tree you have the indication that some things are right here, or just in progress, really, in this case, because we've not really started yet. But we will in a second by uploading a first piece of content. So let's start with our master view. So we'll have this this image of the shirt, and we add it to the product, and then we go into managing the metadata for this asset. And
can we explain why managing, like what metadata is really quickly and why it's important to manage it?
Yes, because we need to tell the system what is that we just uploaded, right? So of course we can see it's a shirt, but for the sake of the completeness check of the product content, we now need to tell the system which of the variants that we're expecting this is.
And the benefit of that is for easy search, right?
Exactly. So you would, if you imagine you have again thousands, tens of thousands of products, you will need thorough tagging to be able to identify the relevant pieces of content. And for the sake of the completion check of the compound object, we just need to tell the system here, okay, this is the front shot of the shirt. And we can also add some basic description, and then we say save. Okay, now that we've basically added this image of the shirt to our product, and we've told the system that it is the variant front. So one of the elements that we're expecting for the content to be considered complete. So we already see the status is being reevaluated here, and once the system is done, we can see that the status changes to green for
yes, there it is. Nice.
our front element. Exactly. And so this is now present, and the other four are still missing. And what you can also see is that now the main image basically now represents the whole of the product. Okay, and just to shorten this a bit, with the first example at least, let's immediately add the remaining 4 views for elements in one go.
Okay, so what I want to point out here is that Reini is doing a bulk upload, which is also really convenient, especially if you're working with a lot of content, right? So he just grabbed it and dragged it and plopped it in there, and it's really convenient, the bulk uploading.
And we're not just bulk uploading, we're also going to bulk edit the metadata for the outstanding or for the new additions basically to the product. And what we can do here,
really nice, that you can select all 4 of them, and just one time you're going to put that metadata in. It'll be consistent across all 4 images, and you only have to do it once and you're done. This is really great.
So what I'm doing here is basically with the first step, I can add the information that they all share, which is basically the product description, dark blue shirt, and then individually just go in and set the relevant variant information, right? So this here.
That's so great. So what you did is you bulk uploaded, you bulk added metadata, and then now after that, you can actually individually pick out the content from there, and then even go down, drill down even more and add even more specific metadata. This is really great.
Exactly. So here, this is our style shot with the clothing in context to other items of clothing that he wears here. This here is the detail shot, the front detail shot. Also, if you're in some kind of style image, really frontal detail. And then lastly, this is our front with the model. Okay. And that's done. And again, after a short while, the status information gets updated on the compound object, and hopefully everything checks out to be complete. And again, the visual cue showing the marketer at first glance that the product content for the t-shirt is all there as defined. as required, and by that this product can be shown or published to the web shop.
The green light is my reward, right? It's my security check, it's my reward, it's my overview. This is great. And I can feel confident and comfortable to say, okay, this is ready to go to market. Like you said, whether it's portals, web shop, website, whatever.
Okay, so now we've, as we said, we've been rewarded with having everything in green. We have all 5 elements. We have the status indication. Everything is golden. Okay.
That was a really nice example. Thanks for showing us that.
That was just sort of to warm you up, because now we're going into the actual full flow of doing an example for a tech retail, like a TV set. And what we do first, as promised before, we will create this kind of framework, the rules that we need for the TV to check out.
I like the 2 different examples of a t-shirt, which is retail, and now we're going to go for something a little bit more manufacturing, like a TV. Very different.
So here, as a more like admin kind of role, obviously you only do that once you have to set up this kind of thing for the first time. Here, basically down here, you see the rule that we've defined for fashion, and now we'll add a new rule for TVs.
I like the idea of an admin role. That gives me this really tight control of what's going to go in there, right? And not everybody can go into compound objects and mess with it. I'm going to go in there.
Exactly.
I have my admin, my admin right. I'm going to put it in there, and it doesn't get messed with afterward.
And this is just also to make it as simple as possible for the regular users who don't have to worry about these kind of things and have their admins prepare this for them.
Right.
So again, asset variant. And for the TV, what we want to have, again, we want a view from the front. Yeah. We want a side view. We want a perspective. And as we said before, we also want the manual. So again, so this now would require the user manual to be present. So another kind of content for the TV. Yeah? And let's save this. And just to have a more uncluttered view, let's go back to my regular marketer user. So, and again, so we are at the same base as before. So we start with a new product, the TV, the 34-inch TV, and we make a product or a compound object out of it to apply those new rules that we've just created.
Mm-hmm.
So TV
set. Now this is the process over again, what you were showing earlier. We just had the admin process at the beginning for the TV, so we can see how that was actually created. And now we're going back to, like Reini said, the regular user and filling in everything again, like we did for the t-shirt.
Exactly. So another thing that we actually can do here is, because this is a template, right? So for the TV set, maybe it would also be nice to have a view of, or to require also the presence of the remote control. So an image of the remote control, which is something I would be able to just flexibly add at this point for this particular product. And again, front should be the main shot for the product.
That drop-down menu is really nice for that flexibility there.
Exactly. So here you can really fine-tune the requirements for a specific product if that is something that you need. Okay. So now, before what we've seen is we already had the shots of the clothes of the shirt taken with the model. Everything was there. But what if it wasn't? What if you were in a position as the marketer to actually have to trigger production of this and manage the production, manage the approval, and make sure that only the approved content at the last step gets put into here. Well, for this, we have created the second feature that I want to demo today, which is placeholders. Placeholders can be created as an asset, but without actually uploading anything. Yeah? So I create the new placeholder object here. And it behaves.
What you're doing, you're creating a requirement for something that does not yet, for a piece of content that does not yet exist. So I want the photo of the TV. I don't have the photo of the TV yet, but I can still create space for it.
Exactly.
And add, like you'll show us, metadata to it now, and I don't have to go back and do it later.
Exactly. So here, what I'm doing is I create basically the shell that will later hold the main product content, and I can already, give all sorts of information that will describe the asset or the content that will finally end up in this asset to have it produced. And so here, this is going to be my front view. And I could now do the same thing, of course, for the other views, but for the sake of time, let's just do front here now, okay? And what I can do now is basically I can use the other main capability of our platform, Work, to actually manage the content production flow and the approval flow. And the nice thing is with the robots, as we can see in a second, we can really automate a lot of the in-between steps.
Let's talk about CELUM Work really quickly. So what exactly is CELUM Work and what do I use it for? I mean, I know as a product marketing manager, I'm in Work multiple times a day, overseeing my projects from start to finish, right? But if you can explain Work a little bit more to our audience.
Well, what CELUM Work really does is it's our collaboration tool that allows you to use tasking and states that are represented as a kind of a board where tasks can transition between states to manage collaboration on mainly optimise content, because this is what we're there for. So as you can see in a second, I'll have a board-like view of a process with the different states being represented as columns. So let's check this one I've prepared already. So product content production is the flow we want to use. And this process is a very simple process, right? So in this process, we have a...
Sorry. So what you did is you connected the compound object now with a workroom, right? And within the workroom, then we can have the project tasks, which is what you're showing us right now.
Exactly. So we have a simple flow set up here. So there's a to-do list, for example, to be picked up by an agency or photographer who will then basically take the task and progress it through to the production stage. Then there will be someone in our organization that does the approval, and they can then put it into approved, by which time it will be automatically added back to content as a new version on the placeholder object, making it a complete object.
Okay, this is fantastic. This is such an easy workflow that really the product is doing the work for me, right? Everything is connected. I did my compound objects. I connected it to the workroom. My team is working on the content because, as we know, it's more than one piece of content. It's the remote. It's the front, shot. It's a video. It's this. And I'm going to use that workroom. And as everything gets done, it'll hit that final column and it'll actually link back to my compound objects and it will start filling in there with me kind of hands off and being able to project manage very easily.
Exactly. So you can obviously, assign tasks to somebody, to the photographer, for example, to produce, or to the agency to produce the image. And once they're done with it, they basically assign the task on for somebody to approve it. Yeah. And I'm not going to obviously set up a full workroom demo here, but the last step here, approved. So somebody now will be able to approve this image. Yeah. Before, of course, there can be, back and forth with the agency using Work's capability of markup and comments, so that, I don't know.
Well, this is where that collaboration comes in, right? Really,
exactly.
What's so what you're doing right now.
I can mark this up and leave a comment for the agency. You need to rework this, send it back to them, and no need for emails. You can do everything within the platform, and everything is tracked. There's a complete history of all the comments. You can compare versions. It's really very powerful stuff. And then obviously, so the last thing, you see, notice the little robot here. This will now automatically upload this new version, so the actual final approved content that we've produced through the flow here in Work, back onto the asset in.
So the robot is what I put in there to then connect it back into the compound object.
Exactly. And so here it is. We defined the placeholder that already held the description of what is expected here. And then we managed production of the actual content with Work. And the approved content now ended back up here. And of course, I could have done this with all the other required elements to end up with, again, a complete state here. Of course, it's not complete, but with a complete state that immediately shows the marketeer that this content, this product is ready to be published on portals, on a web shop, on a CMS, whatever.
That's amazing. So much of the work is taken over for me with this product, with this feature.
Yeah, so thanks for your questions. I think I hope that also helped illuminate some things I didn't readily explain to the audience. But looking at the time, and basically the questions, are there any?
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
Okay.
Hang on a second. I'm just reading them one by one. The first one is, which systems regarding CELUM, also which CELUM system requirements do I need to meet to use compound object and placeholders?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. We've released this suite really of capabilities with 23.5. So it would need the most recent CELUM version, obviously, to benefit from these new features. And also there are basically a subscription option. So you will need to get in contact with your CELUM contact, with a CELUM rep to get info on that.
Okay, great. Next question is, once a framework or set of regulation is defined, can this be used for different projects? For example, an online shop with 100 different t-shirts.
Yes. So basically, you need to look at your metadata requirements, and you find the common denominator for all the t-shirts that you have in your shop. And this is then what you can define on the template, and then you can reuse the rule set, or the template, as you call it, for each product that you create.
Okay, so can be done faster.
Exactly.
If an asset has existing metadata, for example, from a PIM system, will these be accepted or taken over, or do I have to re-add the information?
No, that will be taken over. The only thing that you basically have to do when you set up the rules, or the framework that we discussed before or shown before, is that you just need to select the relevant metadata fields that contains already the PIM provided data, and map the states from there. So that's perfectly okay, and that's what it's designed for, actually. Yeah.
Perfect. Next question. Can everybody add or remove requirements? Because you were talking about rights. I think this is
only the one. So this is tied to the permissions on collection level, right? So here, if I'm a user that is allowed to edit the collection per se, so I could already change any metadata, I could change any name if I have the permission. then I can also change the compound requirements. Yes, but basically I already have to have a pretty high level of permissions on the collection anyway.
Okay, so reader only cannot change anything. So
No.
cannot.
No.
Mm-hmm. And the last question I received or we got here is, how is this different from asset relations? So
That's a good question.
somebody who knows.
That's a good question.
Yeah, is this different? How is this different?
The asset relations are a loose coupling between different assets. So, for example, drag and dropping them here would relate those two assets. And you can give, also, this is related, or this is a language rent and stuff like that. You can do that. But there is no check on completeness. There's no rule set. There's no visual cues that just like that are in place for the compound objects, like here, that would tell you whether or not all the content that's required is there. So asset relations is a much looser coupling, and it's not about the checking of completeness of content, which compound object definitely is.
Perfect. Yeah, understandable. So that's all our questions, which is almost quite on time. So very good. Thank you very much. If you have any additional questions, please just do not hesitate to send them to us per email. We will be very happy to answer them, also together with the recording, for example. What is there for me to do? Let me just maybe invite you to our next upcoming webinar, which will be taking place in June, on the 27th of June, where you will learn all about how to best use image databases and stock media providers together with your CELUM. And that leaves me with saying thank you very, very much, Reinhard and Britta, for these very informative sessions. I think we've learned a lot on how to thrill our audiences out there with the compound objects and placeholders. And I have to thank you, our dearest audience, for your time and for your interest. And I hope to see you soon and have a great day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a nice one. Bye.
Bye.